Wow. I didn't even get to turn on the other lights, the brighter lights. I didn't open the shades or turn on the bright light that's behind my desk because 9:44 snuck up on me. I was doing some research actually for this one, looking a few things up, and time got away from me. I had the big candle lit in the back, but I had to quick light the ones in the front. And anyway, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's 9:44. Now it's 9:45 a.m. on Thursday, and this is Friday's video, the 6th of December. And the title for today is Deep Analysis of OPPT Requested. John Doe wrote, Ron, thank you for the amazing job you are doing keeping so many people informed. So many of us would appreciate your deep analysis of OPPT. End quote. I replied, I don't think Heather had any ill intent, and credit her with taking a big and important step. I also think OPPT dropped the ball, so to speak, and it was picked up by Swiss Indo. Hopefully they will manage to get global funding released to the people. As for deep analysis, I simply lack the necessary time to research things to the extent I've done in the past, and I've lost interest in trying to find remedies that always work. Most remedies, I feel, have value. Where they fall short is lacking enforcement. Criminals will not enforce laws that would end their criminality. Until that issue is dealt with on a global scale, there will not be any foolproof remedy that will secure our natural rights. Now, let me just go to the email from John Doe because I only put a couple of parts of it in there. And what did I do? Okay, okay, here it is. That was pretty quick. He also said, I know that you follow several thought leaders around the world, including Kate of Gaia. What do you think of Kate of Gaia's analysis of Heather's work? And he provided a link. I looked up the link, and it was from July. And when I responded to him, I said, I thought it was going to be something new. And then he also, continuing his email, I went back and listened to Brian Kelly's interview with Heather from January 2013. And it's interesting because Heather was promising releasing of funds to the people, which never happened. And he provides the link for that interview, which I probably heard that one too, as I also did the one from Kate of Gaia. So many of us would appreciate your deep analysis of OPPT. Blessings, John. And it's really from, the thing is John Doe. I don't believe that's his real name, be that as it may. That's the name that he used in sending me the email to my one of my private email addresses. It was not a Facebook or a YouTube comment. Anyway, I've been spending some time lately looking at, let me just get to them again, the oneheaven.org, one-heaven.org, which is the blog or the page created, I think, mostly by Frank O'Connor. And he's one of the Australian, actually, Australia has so many people that are doing such a tremendous job of researching the law. And Franco Collins, I think I said Frank O'Connor, Franco Collins, he's probably one of the best. I mean, I've actually had a conversation with him a year and a half or two ago, and I've read a bunch of his stuff. And oneheaven.org is like, I mean, it's like a college course. Plus, it's like several semesters of college courses rolled into one. It would be, somebody have to be really dedicated to go through everything that's provided there. In-depth, detailed information, okay, on the law. He probably knows the law and the roots of the law better than most attorneys and judges. Certainly, Heather would have drawn from some of that, I feel, but I don't know that for a fact. But there's so many others. The astrotheology, Santos Bonacci. I mean, I've been adopted by people in Australia. I actually have an Australian address. Somebody adopted me and gave me their address outside of Melbourne, Australia. So I mean, I'm an Australian, even though I've never been on the continent in this lifetime. But I have so many connections of amazing people. Of course, you've heard me do interviews with Peter Van Runt, although not recently. He sort of took a hiatus from those for whatever reason. We still communicate, but we just haven't done any interviews. In any case, the OPPT thing is amazing. And when I first saw it, I said, this is the remedy. This is the remedy. But then the funding thing made them drop the ball because Heather and the trustees of the OPPT could not provide the actual funding to people. They said that our value is $5 billion, and if we've been damaged, which is true of all of us, $5 billion on top of that, so $10 billion. That I never took that in my whole time of hearing it. I never took that to be an actual number that we would actually go and put that into our bank account, whatever, and utilize $10 billion of funding. The principle was that we have unlimited, value that is so enormous that it boggles the mind. I mean, spending $1 billion. I mean, I forget. I saw the statistics once. If you had $1 billion to spend, how long would it take to spend it? How much could you spend every minute for 10 years? You wouldn't run out of money. And I mean, it was a staggering amount. Unbelievable wealth. That's our value. We are the value. I can't give you a deep analysis of OPPT, except to say that she took the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, and she used the code to implode the whole commercial system of law and admiralty law as she had been trained as an attorney and as it is implemented throughout the world in virtually all the countries except for a handful of holdouts. Like I read, the countries that the West calls enemies, those are generally countries that have resisted the Rothschild banking conglomerate and the don't want to use the standard UCC. Okay, but pretty much it's worldwide. It's a global system. And Heather imploded that, and she did an excellent job. She pointed out that they were involved in human slavery. That's irrefutable. The whole system is human slavery. The whole entire freaking system. And those of us that have been part of the sovereignty movement and the free man movement and stuff like that, we have been trying for years to find remedies against the system so that we can liberate ourselves and ultimately humanity from the corrupt criminal cabal that has run the world. We've been trying to do that, and virtually every remedy that I've ever seen to me has merit, and I used to look at them all the freaking time when I was more heavily involved in the lawsuit and trying to redeem and save my property, my home more specifically, and creating trusts and learning all sorts of things to create remedies. Every time I would find a new remedy, I would use it. I filed my own UCC one, my Liber papers, my Liberation papers. I filed them with the state of Florida, with the local county. I did not file them with the federal government. I did not take that step because I never attempted to get anything back. But that was just one remedy that I've used. I've created common law trusts. By the way, my friend Glenn, Success Source BT, he teaches people how to do business trusts, which are common law, non-statutory trusts. He helped me. In any case, all of these remedies to me, have lawful value. The problem is our courts are not lawful. They break the law. They are literally criminal courts. And I don't mean in the sense that we've been trained. I mean the court itself is criminal. The court itself is in contempt of the law. The court itself is in contempt of truth. Now, how do you find remedy when you've got judges and you've got people that claim authority and you have other people believing that they actually do have authority, and you live in a world that's totally insane, that's fighting against itself? You know, how do you find remedy? How do you find security in a world like that? Now, Peter Van Runt, my friend that I mentioned a little bit ago and that I've done interviews with, he put something about, I don't know if I can, I don't even want to try to find it now, but he put something about people that look for security. There is, you know, the security's only within. No, it's, yeah, Peter, I hear you. I hear you. And I know that if I was snuffed this very minute, if I was snuffed right now, I live on. I'm not worried about that. I didn't come here, though, and take on the human experience except to resolve issues that have to do with living on Earth. And not just for me, but for everybody. And I've searched for remedies. Kate of Gaia, I respect her a lot. Because she has done, when he went to court, the judge bowed to him. And then he took on more of the persona of a female because I guess he's transgendered. And that's fine. But that's just one of many people that have done amazing work in dealing with the law, rooting out the basis of our legal structure and finding the remedy. There's always remedy in the law, but the remedies are ignored by the court. The problem isn't the remedies. One problem is that there are people selling remedies to other people and trying to make a business out of it. And I think that in itself, there's something wrong with that whole aspect of trying to make a business out of helping people. You know, but then again, the entire financial structure, there's something wrong with that, of charging people for anything. But that's the system that we live in. But the thing is, when a remedy works, and it works a couple of times, the system comes back and figures out how to deny that remedy. And they do it over and over again, so that maybe a few people get away with it. It's not about learning. I'm tired of trying to learn new tricks, even though I've looked at a bunch of One Heaven stuff, and it's beautiful stuff. It's beautiful stuff. It's all about creating your own estate and your coat of arms and there's beautiful stuff in there. And another one of the people from Australia that I've come into contact with, Jagamara, who is an indigenous Australian, an Aborigine. Brilliant man. Very spiritual. Very, very deeply spiritual. Lots and lots of good stuff put out. I mean, lots of good stuff. But and as I see it, maybe I'm wrong, but as I see it, humans shouldn't have to fight to survive on the planet they were born in. They shouldn't have to fight a whole bunch of legal battles just to be, and to do, and to be free. That's a birthright. We are born free. But then our freedom is instantly snatched away from us and stolen by people pretending to have authority, that have no legitimate authority on a cosmic or spiritual level. They have no legitimate authority. That's the problem. That's the world that we live in. And what's the remedy? The remedy is for everybody to wake up. The remedy is for people to start saying no. The remedy is for people to start coming together and cooperating with each other instead of resisting each other. The remedy is to stop fighting and find the common ground and build from the place of commonality. That's the remedy that's going to work. And start training the police and start training the military wherever you live. Make contacts with police and military and with people. I mean, when I had a DCF guy come to this house a week ago to check on the children, he stood way out into the driveway, didn't even come up onto the front porch. And we talked, and I let him to come in and make sure that the kids had a safe environment to live in, which they do. But I educated him about the law, and he seemed fascinated by what I was sharing with him. Because even you get to talk to the police, or I'm not talking about when they're trying to arrest you or something like that, but develop some kind of contact with people that work for the government. And I'll bet you many of them, if not most of them, understand that the government there's something wrong with the government. They work for it. They know. People know. And it's up to us to educate them. And it's up to people that refuse to be educated to stop refusing. You want remedy? Stop refusing to listen to the people that are telling you the truth. Now, it doesn't sound like the truth initially. It doesn't sound like a truth when somebody tells you banks don't lend money, because you've been brainwashed your whole life to think that you don't have any and the banks is where you get it. No, it's not. The banks get it from us. It's exactly the opposite. OPPT did not fail. What failed is the system that was built on fraud. It failed to take heed of what was done. There was nothing wrong with what Heather did. Nothing. I don't care, Kate of Gaia or anybody else that throws rocks at it. What she did was perfect in the context in which she did it. Again, the problem is you've got people that do not want to tell the truth. They do not want to stand under the law, the common law, the natural law. They want to continue the Ponzi scheme, continue the fraud. That's the problem. And that's what we're up against. That's what needs to change. And that's where we're going to find our remedy. The remedy is in arresting those or curtailing those that break the law. Everybody has to be under common law. It's the only way it's going to work. No exceptions. No exceptions. Do unto others, the golden rule. That's the rule to live by. You don't need a bunch of other rules, just the golden rule. Anyway, I know this is not a deep analysis of the OPPT, but the OPPT was a remedy. It still is. And it did its job, and it still does. Okay? We need to find the remedy called cooperation if we're going to turn the world around. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do these videos. And I thank you for listening. Namaste.